What's up with my P family? It's your boy L, APA, coming through with another video, some content for your mind. The rest you already know. And as always, you guys already know what we do on this channel, man. Kicking the tails for the YGs, the reoffenders. And as you can tell by the thumbnail, that caption, that good old Unya. Mississippi Power Struggle Organizations. I'll tell you a story that I told before a long time ago, but not really too many people heard it. Nonetheless, I think I'll put in a few more details. I'm tending to do my videos a little longer this time around. People tend to like it, so here we go. So, Mississippi. I know a lot of people think to themselves as soon as they hear Mississippi they assume that we did time with Mississippi convicts, and that's not the case. Once and for all, I mean, I've explained it before, but I'll explain it a little bit in the beginning of this video. And basically what CDC was ordered to release thousands upon thousands of convicts by the 3-judge panel that pretty much ruled that California prisons were overpopulated. The quotas were being overran, exaggeratedly overpopulated. And a prison of, let's just say 5,000, there was like 8,000, something like that. Or a prison of 1,000, there was freaking 1,500 type shit. So there was an overflow problem. So they got sued, and then finally the 3-judge panel looked over the matter and ordered CDC, an ambiguous writing, like the law always is. It always has ambiguous writing. Forgive my son, you know, I'm a family man. But ambiguity is pretty much the epitome of law, meaning they're not too detailed. That way they can interpret the law however the hell they want to sometimes, you know. And basically that's what they did. And so see, instead of CDC being mandated to release them, see, the law didn't say you have to release them to the streets. It said you have to release them. That's all it said. So what CDC did was rent prisons from different states so they could transfer inmates over there, and technically releasing them from California, but not releasing them to the streets. That's the loophole that they found, because, you know, I think in some ways some of the judges didn't really mean release them to the streets, you know, or find a solution or something. Because anywho, some of them did get released, not many. The rest of them went out to out of state. So there was some. The out of state program was already it was already in effect. Actually, convicts were already out in Arizona, Mississippi, and Oklahoma doing time, and in Colorado too, and in other states. But they only were housed with California inmates. So when the 3-judge panel came down, that's where CDC pretty much dropped the criteria, and that criteria was no violent inmates, only level 3s, no inmates with shoe terms, no inmates with long, lengthy sentences over 10 years, etc. When the 3-judge panel did that ruling, CDC said, fuck it. As long as they're level 3, we're sending anybody. Who gives a shit? So they started sending a lot. But around that time, I actually happened to drop points. You know, I dropped points from New Corcoran on the 180 to Pleasant Valley, got into a riot there, and it would have jumped me back up to level 4 points. I haven't retold that story, but I will. But I beat the 115 because they set us up. You know, they put us out there with like 60-something Bulldogs, whatever, and like 12 of us. And that way I was able to beat my 115. Therefore, they readjusted my points, and I was able to go to stay on a level 3 for a little bit, and they sent me out of state around that time. And they started snatching up a bunch of dudes from the yard. Hey, what's up? You want to go out of state? Want to go out of state? Want to go out of state? The fact of the matter is that this time around, when they started doing it, it was no longer optional. At first, it was optional. They were asking people, hey man, there's this, there's PlayStation, there's that. You guys want to go? You could say no. The time they snatched me up, it was, like I said, the 3-judge panel had ruled, no, you're going. You could have a lawyer if you want, but all you're gonna do is postpone it for a few weeks. Other than that, you're freaking going, you know? So at the time, I remember thinking, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Nobody wanted to go out of state because everybody was too hard in their mind. Like, oh, hell no, man, out of state, man. I want to be in a California prison, homie. I want to be in a yard. In my mind, by that time, I had already done years on a level 4 shoot term. So I was like, you know what? Fuck that. Send me out of state. I ain't tripping, you know? God, did I know what the hell I was getting myself into. I thought it was gonna be like Camp Snoopy and shit, do easy time, but it turned out to be like a prison YA. So anywho, they sent me out to Arizona, and then eventually I get to Mississippi a few months later. When I get to Mississippi, man, I get there, I got to the inner buildings. It was the very first module to the left. I think it was E or F or some shit like that. I don't remember that one. I don't remember exactly which one they put me in, because I was only there for orientation and like a couple of weeks. And then eventually they sent me out to O Block. I remember O Block, I remember M Block, N Block on the outer buildings. You know, the inner buildings, I really just, it's faded since now. So I got there, and in my back window, I could see the yard, the cage yard from, I believe it was M building. Not the building that's across from O, but the one closer to the inner buildings. Anywho, so that was M or N, one of the two. I think it's M. So I look out, and there's homies on the yard. You know, they don't mix us with the blacks in the cages. I'm thinking they already learned or already knew that that's a recipe for disaster, unfortunately. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking out and I'm watching TV, whatnot, bam. And all of a sudden I look out, and boom, I see one dude run to the other dude, boom, 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 start hitting him. And as soon as that happened, the other homie rushed that fool, and the other fool rushed the other dude, and boom, before you know it, bro, I literally saw all these dudes, boom, 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 blasting each other, getting down, get down, get down. And they all proned out at one point, and then got up, and they started getting their money again. What's up, fool? Boom, 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 boom. And this was homies going at it. And the reason they were going at it is because of the organizations that be the powers, you know, that they were working for. For those of you that know, of course, you guys know. So, see, Mississippi was a treasure trove, and for those of you that are familiar with the term primo, somebody put in my comments that everybody was a primo. Damn near, you know, I wasn't, you know, but damn near everybody trying to be in the mix was a primo, because basically what was going on is, if you were a primo, you were support, and if you were support, that means if you were working for a senor, that was whoever had the most support sent the most money and had the most soldiers to take over the blocks, to take over the prison, whatnot. So it seems like everybody was plugged in for that reason. And on that prison, we had presence of at least 10 of them. 10 of the organization members at the very least. And you know, it was a recipe for disaster, man. There was things going on in that prison that were ugly. Homies being told on, their plug being told, their plug being stolen. I'm gonna tell up more stories as I go. Doing grimy shit, you know, just to get the plug, or just to fucking come up, just to fucking get the organization member more money, or to make this organization member take over, things like that. Things that happen in California, but not often, because everything's pretty much established. And over there, you were so far from home and you had a lot of dudes that had never really had principles and morals, and had never really been to a real fucking yard. Those were the dudes making the rules, working for organization members, and not giving a fuck. Pretty much, them too far away, what they don't see won't hurt them, as long as they're getting the money type shit. And that's how it went, you know. So for us that got there, that came from the level 4 yards, that came from California, that we knew what's up, that regardless of anything, everything comes back to bite you, no matter how far away from home you are. You're gonna have to answer up one day, you know. And we knew that, you know, and that goes into a lot of the stories that I'm gonna tell as well. There was a lot of dudes right there set tripping and power tripping on the homies, and trying to fucking beat up homies for no reason, and bullying the homies and shit, only because they had the fucking plug, you know, only because they had a fucking dope as shit, phones and all that shit. So yeah, that's what ended up happening, guys. It was ugly. that's one of the few. That's just one of the power struggles that happen like that. The camaradas going at it with each other over two struggling entities, and that one right there actually was a pretty deep one, man. That one went on for a while. And you know, I had just gotten there, so I didn't know what the hell was going on. So for me to see that shit, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell's going on? I hadn't seen, I've witnessed other dudes, well, I've been in prisons where the dudes did the same thing, but it's usually on a level 3, but it's rare. You gotta understand, it's rare. You know, on the 4 yards, like I said, man, it's already established. So, you know, the transitions are usually smooth, you know? It's usually, they're usually, you know, co-signed. They're sanctioned by the top brass, and you know, it's a smooth transition. You know, but yeah, it was a straight jungle out there, man. And I know there's a lot of you out there watching right now that like these Mississippi stories. And those of you that watch my channel and know what's up, you guys know that fucking prison was no joke, and we were always going at it with somebody or fucking power struggling or some shit, man. Wait till I tell the stories. But it was prison YA for me. Probably worse than YA, honestly, depending. You know, I heard stories like TS and shit like that, older dudes, you know, who ain't no joke, blasting motherfuckers. That's how I was over there. Imagine coming from California and you're doing hollers, this and that, and out there, you're a grown-ass man over there power struggling and shit, you know? But that's a story for another time. And I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the story, just to give you a little insight of what the type of shit that was going on out there. And I'll keep telling you stories as far as how the COs were and how easy they were to pull sometimes, and et cetera, et cetera. But aside from that, man, you guys be good. Just remember, man, the lesson behind it is, kids, you don't ever want to be in this type of situation, man, because it never gets you anywhere. And it only gives you momentary pat on the back. After that, you're stuck doing years and potentially lose your life. You know, one life saved is one life blessed. It's smart manners and